Hey, hello everybody. How is everybody today? Ready to be heroes? Let me see. Who do we have here today? Let's see. Yeah. Hey, Leslie. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Chris, good to have you here as always. Kieran, good to see you. Delta CRJ 900. I'm going to have to learn your first name. Right now, you're just Delta CRJ 900. Um, let's see who else. Steve Childers, welcome, hello. And Ahmet Gazitsevik, welcome from Bulgaria. Let me see. Bulgarian for hello. I don't know. It's somewhere in the line of Dubrigin, something like that. Jin Dubre, something like that. Although Ahmet is kind of Arabic, I could say merhaba and see how that works. Hey, Colin Wykes, how are you? Tim JD and Paul, welcome. I'm being nagged here on the down low. Oh, come here. Come here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Perry. He is not my cat. He's my son's cat. You want to say hi, Perry? Perry is heavily stressed right now because my son is moving out and taking Perry with him. Perry probably is sensing, since my son is packing and boxing things, that something's happening. So Perry is a little stressed out. Normally he doesn't like to, well, he likes to hang out with me, but not down here. And Perry is nagging at me. Although right now he's also irritated that I picked him up. But yeah, he is heavily stressed right now. One stressed cat. Say hi to everybody, Perry. Perry doesn't talk much. All right. Well, why don't you go somewhere then? Hi, Melvin. How are you? Good to have you. Um, do not have a song today. I actually wrote one and got the music for it, but both Joyce and I said, don't think we can sing this one. Um, Mostly because the vocals are just too much for Joyce or me to do. I'm trying to work up the courage to do it, and I wrote it late, so we didn't have time to really. Hi, Jason and Flymo, welcome. So yeah, my son is moving out. He actually moved out before. He moved out when he was 19. Some friends were renting a place, and one of their friends moved out on them and left them hanging. And my son, being the kind of guy he is, said, "Hey, I'll move in and help you guys out with the rent." And they lived together for 2, 3 years. Some guys coming and going. And then he moved back in as he was graduating college. He moved back in because he didn't know if he was going to get a job offer to where he'd have to move, and he didn't want to get wrapped up into an apartment. But right now, he's decided at least for a year he's hanging out here. His girlfriend's about to graduate college, so he just finally found an apartment he's happy with and is moving out. And I certainly not pushing him out, but he's ready to move out and he wants his place. Basically, his whole world has been crammed into his bedroom for the last year and a half. Let's see, anybody else coming in? Um, so, yeah, he's moving out. And then the other thing that really has prevented me, besides work has just been nuts this week. I have not had any free time. It has been ridiculous. And what little free time I have, I started building the crib for my coming grandson. We have a grandson who will be coming middle of December, and my daughter, I think Joyce coerced my daughter into asking me to build the crib. I'm not a I am not a skilled woodworker. I have two primary tools. I have a table saw and a double miter saw, or a chop saw, as we like to call it in this part of the country, but double mitered. And then I can cobble things together. I'm better on interior stuff you don't see, framing and drywalling and all that. That's my skill as far as true woodworking, but I figure I can build a basic. But they want something that can be passed down the generations, a family heirloom, because we had a family heirloom, but it didn't survive move number 4. It didn't survive. It was not in great shape when it came down to us, but it went through 4 generations of Joyce's family. and it didn't make it through. Well, we actually passed it on, and then the other family kind of broke it, but it was getting in pretty bad shape. Sorry, Perry is taking chords with him. So I really didn't get a chance to really work on the song and finish it. Wrote the lyrics. When I told Chris on Wednesday, I hadn't even written a song yet. I did not have one. And then later that day, I was listening to some music and a song came up, and I said, I think I could do that. And so that's one thing. The other thing about doing a song was that the one I wrote this week is mean. It's sarcasm. It wasn't aimed at anyone in particular, but it's not the funny haha. It definitely had a lot of venom in it. I actually started it aimed at me, but then as I wrote it, it kind of went the opposite way of me. So yeah, son's moving out. Got a grandson coming. Building a crib. Yeah, that's it. The big news is after a year and a half waiting. After a year and a half waiting. Um, these things were shown in February of 2019 at the I'll put those up for you at the Nuremberg Toy Fair, which is the world's largest toy fair, and it's where all the big train companies show off all their coming stuff. And these are the tower lights, exact tower lights that are on my that are at the actual Dumb and Horse station. You know, if I pop up the station view there, they will go right here at the end. There's three on these longer ends and one at the other end. I got 8 of these. So I got 8 of these. They finally came in last week. A year and a half after advertised, they finally got released. And so I got them. And I just got to put them in. They've been sitting in the living room. I don't know if I'll even get to it this week because I'm probably going to be spending most of tomorrow and Sunday building a crib. But I finally got the lights. They're kind of cool. Let's see if I can demonstrate one here. Little 12-volt battery. I think it goes this way. Let's see. Are you going to work for me? Are you going to work for me? No, I'm doing it backwards anyhow. There we go. Yeah, see, you can see they're on. But really, the exact type of towers that are at Dumb and Horse. So I'm really thrilled about that because I can now declare the Dumb and Horse station 100% done. I still have to wire them, and they do already come with transistors or resistors on them, so that's really cool. So this is all good to go. Very excited. Just got to get my lazy butt to do it. And if you know me, I have a very lazy butt when it comes to working on the layout. That's why nothing gets done in a year. But yeah, I got a whole ton of them. And so I just got to measure and mark. But if I get to it this week, it'll be a miracle because it's been a hectic week. Let me see. Anybody else just come in? Hey, March West, how are you? Good to see you guys. So I don't know if you guys, Jason, if I didn't say hi. I do not have a new song this week, but you guys are here. Trains are here. I'm here. I'm just so glad it's Friday. It has been a hectic week at work because we're getting ready to transition from doing everything completely online to back to having um, half our students each day at the school, which comes in a week. But all of a sudden, our local community just went into the red zone of new COVID outbreaks. So everything's on hold and nobody knows what's going on, and our bosses are idiots. So it's nuts. Yeah, yeah, I can understand that, Flymo, if it hadn't been 2019 that they were announced that they were going to be out in summer of 2019, before all of this crazy stuff. But yes, delays happen, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. These are Wiesmann, so you know they're good quality. If you don't know, most of you, even in, I think, the UK and elsewhere in the world, know Wiesmann makes really good electric accessories to layouts. So, good stuff. I'm very thrilled, and I will be getting those in. So, anyhow, hey, David Cook, how are you? So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Otherwise, it's just me and my continental European trains. Someday I will get that Beatles Yellow Submarine Eurostar from Hornby. but the money I saved for that went to the Alex train that is actually parked now. After 3 straight shows, Alex, the new train, is taking a break today. So let's see who we've got happening today. Don't have anybody at the station yet. There's the village view. Let's just go to the big view. Let's see what's happening. We're going to have the ICE is back. It's actually a lot of the usuals by now. Maybe you guys recognize them. But we got everybody fired up and I think ready to go. Getting a little... Uh-oh. Hang on. I had a sudden reboot of my MS3. I must have bumped it. My MS3, my CS3. MS3 is something else. The cat was messing around down here and I might have snagged the power. So there'll be a slight delay. There it goes. Okay. Waiting. Takes a couple of minutes for it to rewarm up. Not quite sure what happened there. Nobody seems to be creating issues. Come on, fellas. Everybody working? Everybody going? Yeah, everybody's going. All right. So let's just give you the multi-scene while everybody gets going. I was going to show everybody who's going. But we got the Austrian railjet right here, although that camera seems to be having issues. I seem to be having issues with one camera a week lately. Hello, Double O'Neill. Hi, Ewan. Yeah, Steve, the problem is when I'm moving around, the shutoff, the emergency shutoff is right at my elbow, and if I turn my chair, I will occasionally bump it. And that causes everything to reboot. But yeah, for some reason, my 11-lane view, this guy is struggling a bit. I was messing with him, and now he's struggling. We're getting some... But we got the metronome running. We got the Czech railjet as well, so we have both railjets running. Let's go to the overhead view. We've got a red Regiobahn running. Hey, Tristan, how are you? Double O'Neill. Lee, hey Lee, there you go. What am I doing with your t-shirt on? Well, I saw it in your wardrobe viewing and I just had to have it. Actually, this is the first time in, well, since I first bought this t-shirt, I can wear it. It fit me when I bought it, got washed once, shrank. I got even fatter, so I couldn't wear it, but now that I've lost all this weight, I can wear it again. For the first time since I bought it in 2017. Yeah, I'm 6'3", almost 6'4", but the minute I put on shoes, I'm 6'4", so I'm about 6'3", and I've been very large the last 7, 8, 9 years. Well, I shouldn't say that. I lost a lot of. I was never skinny, but I was always in very good shape through my 20s and 30s because I played a lot of sports and coached a lot of sports, and managed to stay in shape. But once my playing career and coaching career kind of came to an end around the age of 40, I kept eating like I was still playing sports and just put on a crap load of weight. Got up to 300 pounds, so what is that, about 135 kilos, somewhere in there at one point, and then lost a lot of weight, got down to 250, and then I bounced back and forth between 250 and 270, and then last year, Job was stressful. I was eating a lot and not eating what I should be eating. Not eating what I should be eating and eating a lot of what I shouldn't have been eating and got really fat again, up to 284. Now I'm down to 237. I've lost 47 pounds since last November. Um, Almost exactly 40 pounds since February. My favorite sports. To play, I played what you English call football, what we Americans call soccer. I started playing soccer when I was 11, which my dad was embarrassed about because it was my dad used very nasty pejoratives towards playing soccer. It wasn't an American sport, you know. I was into American football, and in my 20s, I started playing adult leagues, baseball, and soccer, volleyball, basketball. Joyce and I love to play tennis against each other. Yes, at one time, a long time ago, this room, which is our basement, this is a basement, and it's about 25 feet across. Yeah, maybe 27 feet across. Yeah, maybe it's 30. I don't know. Yeah, let's say it's about 30 feet across, wall to wall. I have about 22 feet long in the back here for my track. Hey, Andrew T., how are you? So, yeah, this was our kids' playroom. The basement is as big as the rest of the house. The house is actually a small house by American standards. It's what we call a starter home, a bungalow. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It had 1 floor and an attic. Well, the attic got converted into a master bedroom, and the basement was what we call in America a finished basement when we bought the house. The previous owners turned it into a living space, so it was a family room. But when we bought it, we had 2 little girls. My son came later. We had 2 little girls, and this was their playroom because the yard was tiny, and so their room was small, but they had this giant area to be their playroom, so they would have all their big toys or whatever down here, and they could play. When they got older and my son got older, this became their entertainment room where they could hang out with their friends. They had their own TV, their video games down here, so they weren't messing with the living room. But yes, this could easily be a giant living room. It also has this is a I don't want to call it a man cave, but I do have a TV right here on the wall, and I can plug in a video game system if I want. I've got the train layout, and then maybe you can see back there behind me, there's a chair, not this chair, but back, God, I hate mirror images, it's hard to orient myself. But there's a wooden chair back there. There's a bar, a wet bar with a refrigerator, and my wife and I are not alcohol drinkers, a little wine occasionally, beer occasionally, very occasionally. Very rarely, I should say. But, so, yeah, we have everything I could need down here. Yeah, this is a big room. This is a big room. It's what sold the house to us. The master bedroom, because Joyce and I grew up sharing rooms with siblings, tiny little rooms with siblings. It's one of the things we had in common. We were both second to last in large families. She was the last girl. I was the first boy. Both very working class to poor family. Her family was working class. Mine was working poor, as we call it. So when we looked at this house, and Joyce had already nixed about 20 houses I liked better when I started looking to buy a house. She had said no to a bunch of them. And so, yeah, we I got mad at her one day and said she said no to another house I really liked and probably still would like better than this house. But what Joyce never told me is that she always wanted a house in this neighborhood. She grew up, there's a major road for our city just outside my house. She grew up on the other side, but she used to have friends and ride her bike up and down the road here. And she always wanted a house in this neighborhood. She never told me that. She just said no to every house I ever bought until this one came up. And I got mad at her one day and said, "You go find a damn house." She went out and found a house. Called me and said, "I think I found a house." And I came and looked at this one. I'm like, "It's too small. It's too small." But look at the basement. The kids have plenty of room down here. Okay. And look at this. We got a master bedroom. You can put a king-size bed up here, and it's got a shower and a bath and our own private toilet. I was like, "Okay, you like this house, right?" "Yes." "All right, we'll buy it. We'll put a bid on it." And we got the bid, and we got the house. But yeah, really, people don't get it. Now, when you're in England and you have those semi-detached houses and row houses and so forth, it's different. It's an American standard. But really, by American standards, this is a small house. It's just a basement, which is double the size of the rest of the house, or half the house, I guess. Really is a luxury. Oh, we have a 2-car garage as well, Jason. But my dad beat into my head that if you have a garage, because we didn't have a garage at our house until he built one about the time I was graduating college. If you have a 2-car garage, that means you're going to put 2 cars in it. So you see that American stereotype of garage is just packed with people's stuff? Nope. It holds 2 cars and my 2 saw tables. And then if I want to really do work, then one of the cars comes out of the garage and I pull my tables out and I work. No, you really can't have too much space for a layout. And I guarantee you there's plenty of people who look at all the space I have and go, "Oh my God, what I could do with that space." And I totally agree. And there are other people that look at me and go, "All that space and look how you've wasted it." It is what it is. Let's see if there's other cameras. Well, let's do village view since we got some guys going in the village. But again, nothing's changed, guys. Same old station, same old station. Welcome, Angel Share. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you can plug your channel and any other decent channel, as long as you're not advertising improper things. But a little bit of inspiration now to get back to work on the layout. I also bought, what else did I buy? I also bought some road tape to put over the Fowler car system. Rather than try to pave it, I'm going to cover it in just a level of self-leveling paste, and then over the road area I will put road tape on the right size, so we'll give that a try. And then the Fowler car system, which is working, not exactly the way I want, but it does work. It does pull in and do its thing, so I'm happy with that. But if you do want to know the song I did do, just haven't finished putting together, you got to know the band Foreigner. If you know the band Foreigner, late 70s, early 80s, well, mid-late 70s. I think their first album came out 76, thereabout. Maybe they came out earlier than that. I just remember that really 76, 77 is when they became huge worldwide. Lou Gramm and Mick Ronson in that group. I think it was Mick Ronson. But we did Jukebox Hero. If you know their song, which came out like I know I was in my later years of high school, I think. So it was like 81, give or take a year. Jukebox Hero came out. Jukebox Hero. And we turned that into YouTube Hero. And I started it as a song to just make fun of me and was going to call it YouTube Zero. But I kept changing it to Hero. And originally the song was making fun of me and all my cameras and not having anything on my layout. But I turned it into kind of mocking, well, you'll just have to wait, I guess. I did not have anybody in mind when I did it. I certainly was not taking aim at anybody specifically. And it didn't have to be about trains, but I made it about trains. Just anybody who goes on YouTube with the plan of, I'm going to get 20,000 subscribers and start making money and be famous, and, and I just... So yeah, I kind of... My sarcasm, obviously I was feeling busy and stressed this week because I wasn't being ha-ha funny. I was being very snarly, sarcastic, but I didn't get it done anyhow, so maybe it'll come out later this weekend separately, or I'll finish it up and just hold it for next week. Because we've got 3 songs done, completely done, lyrics are done, but one we just can't find the music, a true instrumental version. And the other 2, Joyce was willing to sing this song, but she was just practicing, and then she said, I really can't sing this song the way it needs to be sung. It really needs a good hard rock voice, and even Joyce can't do that. Joyce is more a melody singer and not a jukebox hero. She needs that belting voice. So anyhow, what's going on in the chat? Did I miss anybody else? Wow, we're up to 29. Yeah, maybe they stayed because I'm not playing a song. Maybe that's when we lose everybody, when we play a song. Yeah, the car looked great. There's been so many contests and I keep up. Now, speaking of which, I don't know... I don't want to get into it too much. I just want to talk about something that everybody's talking about, because apparently something happened in a circle of people that really kind of annoyed a lot of people last week. And YouTube's been around for a long time, but it seems like thanks to COVID, more and more people are starting channels. More and more people are doing live streams. I know I did. Now, I started a channel with the sole purpose of hopefully finding some people that were into American trains and would be willing to talk. And I'd put up a video of my stuff, and they could put up a video of their stuff. And I would actually meet, because being an American into German trains from the company American, it's an isolated group. But, and then all of a sudden I got lots of subscribers that weren't friends and family, and started meeting new people. And then I started hanging out on all the UK channels and making friends with them. And so I would subscribe to them, they subscribed to me. But now everybody is starting up, and whatever you do, whatever time you go on, it can't be helped. Somebody else has probably got a live stream that you don't know about on at the same time you do. And you might be friends with a couple of people who are part of a big group, and you decide to go live, and somebody gets mad like, hey, I was live on Friday. Well, I don't even know who you are. I don't subscribe to you. Now, I know that MRYCG, which I am kind of a member of, I am a member, although I'm thinking of leaving the group, I know they do Facebook Friday, and they start right now. And a lot of people will go to Facebook Friday, but this is like the one time I can do my show. So I know that I am going on at the same time they're on, but they're not on YouTube. And that was my defense. They're not on YouTube. This is the best time for me to be able to go on. Later in the evening, I got things to do on Fridays. Weekends, I can't be consistent. But if I'm going to keep doing my streams, Friday, 3:30 works the best for me, because from 3:30 to 5:30, I got nothing to do. I usually come home and take a nap. So instead of taking a nap, I'm doing exactly what I wanted to be on YouTube for. I'm talking to people. Yeah, there's a lot of people, yeah, they get monetized, and it's all about them. Um, and I don't know whose show is who. Because I am friends with several people that I've only become friends with in the last month or so, last few weeks, friends on YouTube, and all of a sudden they're all friends with this other person who's got a big show on Thursday night at this time or Saturday morning at that time, and it's, sometimes you find out, and everybody's trying to go. When should I go on? When should I go on? Well, these people are on at this time, so don't go on at that time. But you got to go on when it works for you. And everybody just has to understand. I mean, maybe you don't want to have to choose, but in the end, you choose. I don't know that I have anything to offer on my channel, but I get 20 to 25 people here. Today I've had as many as 29. And I'm thrilled that I get 20 to 29 here. I used to belong to a group, Chris and Kieran, you guys are here. We belonged to a group that we would have 8 to 10 people at most there, but it was so much fun just to sit there and talk. It was just so much fun, either to talk about what the person was doing or to talk about just whatever Kieran or Chris or I typed in. Sometimes those small groups are the best because you really clicked with everybody. Yeah, I offer Miracle Trains, which is obviously my love and passion, and I'm new to it. When I look at Ahmet, who's here from Bulgaria, and then you do have people that go live with, they just go live, and in most cases, 90% of the cases, I don't have a problem with that because, something special's happening and you want to go live and show it. Yeah, you go live. But don't get upset and, first, people just got to stop getting upset over everything. I'll give you an example. I don't want anybody to read any more politics into this than this one issue. I've had a friend for years who complains about political correctness all the time. Sick of political correctness. People are too sensitive. Sick of political correctness. People need to just get over it. People need to just learn to accept it. And he's, he's always upset about political correctness. But if you make a short bus joke, like, you ride the short bus, don't you? Now, for those in the UK who don't necessarily know the short bus, for years and years and years in American school systems, we had our own buses and we'd go pick up kids and bring them to school. Kids with special needs. Kids that when I was 10 were called retarded, mental retardation, and then that became a bad word. So now it's kids with special needs. We went through learning disabilities, then that became bad. Blah, blah, blah. But the minute you make a short bus joke, he's all pissed off because his son had learning disabilities. And it is not funny to do that. And it's like, that's political correctness in a nutshell. Everything, you get mad about everything else, or you think everybody's too sensitive, but you're sensitive about that, Well, everybody has something they're sensitive about. When it comes to online and internet and trains, and you just can't get upset. And I'm a member of 4 groups, and 2 of them I barely go with, and the other one I'm thinking of leaving. Hey, welcome, Dave P. I don't like the way the group handled the recent situation. I'm very angry at how that group handled it. And sometimes I see egos, and it's all about me, and look how great I am. And I just, you know what? I don't need it. Little humility, a little sit back and enjoy it. I love watching people do stuff, and if people love watching my trains, cool. Because I'm sitting here alone in my basement until Joyce comes home, but if I put it on the internet, on YouTube, and I get, 30 people here, I think one of them's me. So 29 other people here to actually listen to me babble and watch my trains go in circles, Uh, I feel absolutely amazed. I also feel most of you need help if that's what you do, but no, it's all good. I love my trains, and if you love my trains, cool. Hey, Steven, there you are. So, Amit from Bulgaria, you have stuck around. That's great. Do you do Miraklin trains, or what do you do? Are you, let me see, Bulgaria. What do I know of Bulgaria? I know a lot of Class 66s, and the Euro Phoenix trains, a lot of them went to Bulgaria. I know that much. I know a lot about the country of Bulgaria, a lot of its history, because I'm a history buff that way. Sofia is the capital. Bulgaria is on my bucket list of countries to visit if I ever make it to Eastern Europe. I would love to just one time do a tour through Serbia, Bulgaria, maybe even Albania, Romania. I'd love to just hit that part of Europe once before I die. Yes, Bulgarian trains are old school. What do you model? Do you model Bulgarian trains, or do you mix in like Miraklin and do Central European German trains? Unfortunately, you go with all DBs. Hey, that's not unfortunately. I'm quite happy. Diesel electric. Okay, you like the diesel electrics. All right. Sadly, I only have a couple of diesel electrics, and it's DMUs. You can see them probably if I go to the 11 lane. He'll come around here eventually. There he is. That's one of my two diesels. Do I have a third? I keep thinking maybe I have another diesel. No, that's it. I have two diesels, and they're both those Lint class. But yeah, I do all Central European, mostly German, but also neighboring countries. The rule for my layout, as most people here know, is I had to have actually ridden on the train before I can buy the train. I've only been in the hobby for, well, we're coming up on 5 years. I have no idea what that was about. Hey, Jerry, good to see you. The Vectrons are nice. And yes, ICE2. I do have ICEs too. I'm running my ICE3 right now, and I'm waiting for my ICE4 to come in. It could come in Tuesday. It seems my train shop gets new stock on Tuesdays, but the Miraklin ICE4 that I have been waiting for a year and a half is due to come out anytime in the next 6 weeks. So it could be next Tuesday, or it could be early December, but I would think they'd want to try to get it into the shops before Christmas. I've already got one pre-ordered. I'm waiting for it to come in, because then I will have an ICE1, an ICE2, an ICE3, and an ICE4. I'll have all 4 generations of ICE. There's the little Durchstock, as we call it in German, Durchstock double-decker. Because since 2003, except for the years 2016 and 2020, I have spent the month of June in Germany. So I got very familiar with the German train system over the last 17 years. Just it's how I fell in love with trains, and then decided I wanted to bring a little of that German rail system home, and that's what got me into model trains. I went from not caring about trains. I spent my whole life not being into model trains, but when I started riding trains in Germany, that's when the bug about riding trains hit. My wife and I love to ride trains. We never rent a car when we're in Germany. We go by train. I love it. Whoops! What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, that was just going to be stupid, Anthony. Sorry, I was trying to mess with my tablet and accidentally closed my app. Hey, John Dawson. Hi and bye, apparently. I missed you coming in. Sorry about that. Yes, Amtrak has gone double deckers. I've got a friend, Matt. I don't know if he's watching. Matt will occasionally come into YouTube, but usually Matt and Steve just text me while I'm streaming. But Matt loves Amtrak. Joyce and I someday are going to take an Amtrak out west, and then we're going to do a couple of special trains, like one of the trains that runs the Canadian Rockies and the American Rockies. Just take one of those leisure lines, and then another one that does the California, Washington, Oregon coastal area. There's one that like goes near or through Yosemite, and we want to do that one. Come on. Thank you. The Empire goes from Chicago to Seattle. Coast Starlight is LA to Seattle. Yeah, I don't think we'll go to LA. We'd probably go out west. And we might just do it as a summer trip, depending on if we could afford it. Just take an Amtrak out somewhere out west, and then pick up one of the Rocky Mountain lines, and then catch the get over to like near Sacramento, California, and pick the the line that runs north, that coastline up to Seattle, and then maybe come around and catch the Canadian Rocky Mountain Express or whatever it's called. Because we want to see that part of. I have been to Yosemite once as a little kid. Joyce, until she married me, had never been west of Chicago. Now she's been in a lot of states because we used to drive around the country to do cheap vacations. When the kids were really little, we couldn't even afford vacations. But once Joyce got working full time and also became a teacher, then we could start to afford little trips. And then once this exchange program started, all our spare money went into the taking students to Germany. But we managed to get our kids most of the time. I'm actually running all my trains a little slower today. I don't know if you guys prefer that, or if you like it when I'm running my rail jets a little faster, but I got everybody down about 20 miles an hour slower, 20 to, well, I don't know. Yeah, about 20 to 30 miles an hour slower than I'd normally run the fast guys. Yeah, David, I agree. Going back to that bit, I will admit I have been in 3 live streams at once just to support the people doing them. You know, if I'm home and I can, and Rachel puts on a live stream, she's got it. But I got friends that are often doing live streams when Rachel goes live, so I will watch Rachel, and then I will go into their streams, and I might listen a bit to Rachel, or I might, you know. I'll have 3 different windows up and try to watch them, or put one on the TV and one on the laptop and listen to one and watch the other and comment in all 3 as I can. You know, I do catch every now and then somebody calls my name and I don't know which stream it was, who was mentioning me. Apparently Anthony's not here. No, I'm here. I was just listening to somebody else. But obviously it was easier before I went back to work. I went back to work at the end of August, and where I had 24/7 free time. Now I don't have a lot of free time. And to be honest, I have less free time than if I were working normally. Uh, Doing all my work online doubles the amount of work I have to do because it takes twice as long to create work, and it takes twice as long to check work when it's digital, as opposed to just grabbing a stack of papers and going through them. I'm glad I could help. Um, I have not done an outsider episode, the Merklin outsider episode. I have not done one of those in a long time because basically I hit the limit of my knowledge. My whole goal with that series, I originally was going to do 10 shows and it went up to 22, 23, was to explain the, originally it was to explain the Merklin system to my friends who didn't understand. And then as more Americans came in and people from Bulgaria and France started emailing me saying, oh my God, somebody's finally doing it in English, then I said, okay, I would teach as much as I know. I've got a couple of friends, Steve, are you listening in? That want me to expand my knowledge even more so I can show them how to do some things. And I kind of just stopped. I learned enough to run my layout, and until I start rebuilding parts of my layout and doing the Dumb and Horse completely, I haven't felt the need to go on. But like, I haven't bothered with block detection or learning how to do block detection with the Merklin system, which is easy to do, but I'm not going to do it on my layout, so I didn't bother learning it. But if it helped you, I am thrilled. I know I've gotten a lot of thanks from around the world from Merklin users, from Brazil and Costa Rica to Japan, and my favorite ones of all are the guys from Denmark and Netherlands that are right next door to Germany, and they probably know some German. I can't stand all their videos are in German. I'm so glad you do them in English. I'm like, okay, but thank you. I appreciate that. Taking the cat for a walk. So it's been, I enjoy making those because those, well, I shouldn't say I enjoy making them more, but I enjoy making the Merklin Outsider because they were the serious ones where I was trying to show a little bit more of my serious side and being serious about my Merklin system and running it. But again, it was more for beginners because I do get comments going, you didn't explain that. They start going into all the calculus of how certain things work, and I'm like, that's not the point of my episode. The point was to explain this to people who are just getting started. And then if they want to go into the calculus, they can. And then my other show, The Outsider, was just me trying to meet trained people. And I mean, I love my there's two shows, well, three shows if you count the Outsider Insider live streams. There is the original, the Model Train Outsider, which is me and the Ghost of 2015. And that was just silliness, but also occasionally showing me working on my layout when I actually would work on my layout. And it was just silly banter, and it really was just putting my insanity on full display, trying to explain the two sides to me. The side of me that's all enthusiastic, hey, let's do this, and the other side of me that's very pragmatic and like, dude, you can't do it like that. I should mess with everybody and do a video in German. I should mess with you guys and just start rattling off in German. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Wie geht es Ihnen heute Abend? Heute habe ich ein paar Züge für euch zu sehen. Heute rennen wir ein Regiobahn im Rot mit ein 147-2 Lokomotiv. And you guys probably only understood locomotive. Dann da kommt hier mein Metronom. Der stammt aus Hamburg. Und so schnell so schnell hier rennt der ICE 3 und auch hier ist mein österreichisches Bundesbahn Railjet. So how was that? That was a couple of minutes of German for you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to the show. Good gentle bodies every evening. I mean, good evening, everybody. Our show tonight is brought to you by beer. It doesn't matter what brand of beer, it's German beer, which means it's better than the shit you drink. Beer, German beer, try some today. All right, Ahmed, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, it's got to be 10:30, or is it 11? Heading on 10:22 there in Bulgaria. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. That was awesome. I get to add Bulgaria to the checklist of people I've had contact with now. I do know the show Allo Allo, but no, that's just me doing my it's politically incorrect, but let's just say my German jerk accent. The officer from the Wehrmacht. You will be shot and asked to leave the country. Prisoner number 143, I have good news for you. Your execution has been delayed for exactly 15 minutes while Heinz is in the bathroom. You're not a beer drinker, you can always do Jaeger. Yeah. Boy, people don't know German, but they know Jaeger, don't they? Jägermeister, hunting master, the hunting master. Jägermeister. We need to get some download views here. We had everybody. Oh, yeah, I was too late with that. All right, let's catch Village View because a couple of guys are going up there. You know what? Let's just hit station. Nobody's there now, but somebody will be coming through. I'll stick to coffee. The one alcohol beverage that I had never had before I went to Germany, and now I'm I won't say addicted to it, but man, I would allow myself to get addicted to it, is peach brandy. Oh my goodness, we got introduced to peach brandy on the Rhine River a few years ago, bought a bottle, had to chase my students out while I bought alcohol in front of them. Because I always had a rule, for years during my exchange program, I had a rule, I don't drink a lot of alcohol anyhow, but I would not drink alcohol in front of my students. By the last few trips, I said to hell with it, I'm having a beer at dinner. Because I was tired of water and pop. So, I mean, it's not like I would drink beer a lot, but I would never, originally I might have one or two beers with friends in private in Germany. But I really discovered I like German beer. Hey, Flymo, thank you very much for stopping by. But we stopped off at this place in a little town called Sant Goa, and I have 3 large bottles of the stuff still. Stefan's Wine Paradise Peach Brandy, It is my favorite alcohol beverage, and it's my favorite liquor. It is a liquor as opposed to beer, alcohol based. But wow, that stuff. My dear friend Heinz, who passed away last Christmas, um, the guy who got me into the exchange program and got me going to Germany. Um, I bought him a bottle of it, and he and his wife were very cultural, very sophisticated. And I'm the exact opposite. I'm very lowbrow. But they were very easygoing, and they could be lowbrow too, but they both had money and were very cultured. They just didn't show it off. But bought him a bottle of this brandy, and they opened it. My favorite line of all time is he opens it. He gets the proper brandy sifters and drinking glasses, and he takes a sip of it. And I'm like, well, what'd you think of it? And he's doing the whole swishing it around the mouth, checking it out. His wife is too. And I'm like, they're going to turn around and say, oh, this is common people stuff. It's not that great. And he finally swallowed it, looked at his wife, and I could see the little grin in his eyes. And he turned to me and he said, in German, he goes, das ist gefährlich gut. That is dangerously good. And I knew exactly what he meant. And that's the best way to describe it. It is dangerously good. It's like the world's greatest Kool-Aid, but it's got a high alcohol content. And it is so good, but if you're sitting there, oh, it's not that much alcohol, and you drink a few shots of it, you're going to be on your butt very quickly. Oh my goodness, it was great stuff. Yeah, that poor little guy on the station. Yeah, I left the video on the station, didn't I? But you guys don't see the station much. I really want a camera that looks into it more deeply. Is this the right one? Oh, that was the bus station one. I gotta label these. I really need to label these. Stay there. That up so I know it's on. But yeah, so you could really see the people standing there. I'd really love the camera in tighter where you could see all the people stand there. There's stories. I created lots of stories. I still have to create one more story, which I am making. Well, I started making pictures of me and some of my more favorite students over the years because they all wrote to me and said, Mr. Dodge, put me in the group. So eventually there will be a little figurine of me and a bunch of my students on that station. Me standing with all my students around me because we usually did that. We go to the station, make sure everybody was there. We're all together. Okay, everybody stick together. Now let's head up to the train. So there'll be me with the typical group of my students. And I've had so many students asking if they could be on the layout. And so I bought a bunch of unpainted figurines and slowly carve. I've had to slow down because of the nerves in my fingers, but slowly carving. But I have made a few custom pictures of friends. A couple of them are on trains. Let me see if I got the one here. Oh, are you here? There you are. Well, I didn't put the real picture up of them, but I've got my friend here. Let's go to the... Now let's go to the big view. People seem to like this view. Andrew, which Andrew? Yeah, sadly he's facing the wrong way. Normally I run the trains one way, but just the way I pull the trains out determines which way I'm going to run them. And then if you haven't figured it out, all my trains run in opposite directions of each other. I never have two trains run in the same direction next to each other. So they all crisscross. But I always like this nice interchange there when I get all the trains there at the same time. That's just kind of fun. I'm pointing to the screen like you could see where I'm pointing. I'd have to... I don't even think you guys would see my cursor here, yeah. Let's see, can I add that picture real quick? Add. No. Cancel. Add. Image. Now I just got to find it. Hopefully this is not interfering with anything. I'll have to wait a couple of seconds, see if all of a sudden you can't see. Let's see, where we at? I'll go documents here. No, wrong one. That's the computer. I don't want the computer. DD trainings right there. Station. All right, guys, don't panic. I'm about to put a picture up here, then I'll have to shrink it into size. So you're about to lose sight of the trains. There we go. This is me and a friend of mine from the city of Delmenhorst named Piotr. He was the first currywurst I ever had in 2003. And we became friends, and he runs a little currywurst shop in Delmenhorst. So when I began building Delmenhorst 3 years ago, when I began making Delmenhorst 3 years ago, so if you can look at that picture, I've got more to it, but try to keep that picture in your mind. And then, oops, there's Piotr and his currywurst shack, the first custom built building I did for my layout. But there's my friend Piotr and his shack. I probably should have put the picture on here instead, and then I could take it down real fast, but that is his little Piotr's currywurst and my little Piotr. He was thrilled. He liked that. Bye, Leslie. So let's go back. So, oops, not that one. That one. So that was the real thing. That's the real thing. And with my friend Piotr, and God, it's amazing. I actually weigh 15 pounds less than I do in that picture. I wasn't too out of shape in that picture. I was a bit out of shape in that picture, but I weigh 15 pounds less than that now. So that's the real thing, and this is my model of him in his shop that will go on Delmenhorst once I start rebuilding the proper Delmenhorst, now that I got the 3D printer, which no, I still haven't used yet, people. Still haven't used the 3D printer. But that was tough because that was a pure custom build, just little bits of card and thing. It's definitely not Paul at Galgorm Hall level quality, but I was pleased with it. So all right, let's get rid of that picture so you guys can see what's happening. Well, let's see, wrong one. Let's try it again. So let's delete that. Yes, there we go. Now back to trains. And there's the up the ramp view going into the station. Most of you, I think, already know the layout. So I don't think I'll put the map up right now. I should have put it up for Amit. I didn't think about it because, well, I wasn't thinking about other people. I only think about myself. Well, nobody's here now, so let's go to Village View again. But yeah, that guy with the sign that you guys were joking about going looking the wrong way, he's only held up with wax, so I could always go and turn him around. But then the sign's in the wrong hand. I'd have to take him down to the other end. But yeah, that was my first custom build in years, Andrew. Since you are saying nice job, I had not built anything custom in years. The last custom stuff I had built was probably the early 2000s when I was building things for my tabletop wargaming hobby, which got replaced by model trains. You can look in this picture. You can see the shelves. As I've mentioned a few times, those are my medieval and Lord of the Rings tabletop. But I would build walls and medieval style fencing and blah blah blah, and stone walls and things like that, hillscapes and like that. If you can see the windmill in the upper right corner of this camera, the hill that it's on was an old hill I built for a battle of Agincourt. Was part of building the Battle of Agincourt battlefield I built once. And it's in crap shape now because I made it 20 years ago. And once the wargaming hobby kind of died, it just got knocked around from one corner of this house to the other. We used it occasionally with the Lord of the Rings battle stuff when my kids got into Lord of the Rings battle stuff with me, but none of it got played. Every now and then we break it out, but it's probably been a year since we broke out and played a tabletop war game. Paul is leaving. Goodbye, Paul. We're going to have, not quite, close to all 3 trains at the station at one time. Railjet coming through. Yep, technically we got all 3 at the station at once. Now, a railjet would never actually be going near Delmenhorst. The furthest north they come is Munich, because they're Austrian. The furthest north they come into Germany is Munich. They'll go Munich to Vienna. Boy, what a trip that sounds just of itself. Munich to Vienna. How glorious sounding. Hey, Bear Lane Steven, nice to have you. Let's give you guys a little bit more speed. What about you? Can we crank you up? Let's see. We'll get you going a little faster. There we go. And now, metronome. How about you, dude? Oh, no, I didn't tell you to change directions. I just told you to pick up some speed here. There we go. Just getting these guys to go a little faster. Let's go to the big view again. Oh. And Ewan is taking off. All right, Ewan. Good night. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, if you came in and didn't catch it, I did not have a song today. I had one mostly done, but just did not have enough time to finish it off, and neither Joyce and I felt like really trying to sing it and go through how many sessions it would take to sing it, because it's a hard song for either of us to sing, and neither one of us would have sounded good. And, well, me, I don't sound good to begin with. I probably should have that Czech railjet flying a little faster, but that's right, you're not touching me now. No, I did not want you to change direction. I just wanted to speed you up a bit. that's from the reboot, right? Alright, you're going well now. No, not too fast for you. There we go. Alright, so that's got everybody going. Alright, I think everybody's up to snuff. Chris is trying to make up for the music. Yes, Chris, it was amazing. I've never heard the flugelhorn sound so amazing. The other custom figures I've made, I can't show you because they're on the trains. On the ICE3, you would actually have to be here. You're welcome to come to America and see them. But on the ICE3, there is a figure I made, the first custom figure I made for the trains, which is a figure of the German teacher whom I started my exchange program with. His name was Uli Rucker, and Uli passed away in 2013 after my last, well, he died in August of 2013. I was there in June. And one of the hardest things is he was in the hospital dying of cancer, and we tried to go see him, and he said no. He did not want us to come see him. He did not want anybody to see him. That was kind of rough, because didn't get a chance to say goodbye. But I made a little figure stereotyped of him sitting in a seat reading a newspaper with his leg crossed, wearing a little short sleeve checkered shirt. So there's a little guy on the train named Uli that really does look just like him. I did a nice job on it. But unfortunately, he's sitting by a window in one of the second class cars. And then Heinz, I'm not done making yet. But I got to have him with his little Mercedes that he'd love to drive. Played the right notes. Hey, Richard Brown. Hi. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed your live stream. I worked late. I didn't get home from work until after 4. Normally I get home before 3. So after 4 is late for me. I go in at 6. So 6 to 4 for me was a long day. But there was just so much I had to do, and I had to make calls. I had to talk to some parents and all sorts of insanity. No, Jackie, they don't play everyone tomorrow. They just play Everton. They got a good chance of winning against Everton. If they had to play everyone, it would be a little harder. I know, I'm just kidding. It just, I mean, I've been teaching for 34 years, and it's secondhand. It's usually easy, but all this doing everything digital, it adds so much time, and then the parents don't understand what's going on because their kids are playing con jobs with them. Because I teach in a tough district school. It wasn't always a tough district school, but now it's a tough district. And so kids play games. I couldn't go into my online class. The computer wasn't working. Or their system was down. No, our system wasn't down, Mrs. Smith. Our system was up. He just missed class. Well, he says he couldn't get in. And you keep marking him absent. He's not coming into the class. He's absent. I hate to tell you this, Mrs. Smith, but your little son is being devious. Ron Devious. Monty Python reference. Well, Andrew, if Liverpool plays the way they did against Aston Villa a couple of weeks ago, Everton will win. I'm hoping that butt kicking they took woke them up, because they have been downplaying the weak opponents for years under Jurgen Klopp. Last year, they would still manage to win by a goal. They'll beat the top teams, and then for years under Jurgen Klopp, they would beat the top teams, but then get beat 5-4 against the weak teams because they just couldn't be motivated to play against teams so inferior to them. And finally, now I know they had two tough games against Arsenal in a week, but that's no excuse to show up and just play that stupidly against Aston Villa. That was just embarrassing. Worst game I've seen Liverpool play in years and years and years, other than, a 5-0 loss to Everton a few years ago. But that was just absolutely sickening display. But I know Klopp back from his days as a coach in the Bundesliga and the second Liga. And Klopp is a great coach, but he has two problems to me, which, despite all his trophies, I still think Pep Guardiola, a couple other guys are better coaches, is Klopp never seems to be able to motivate his team to play against weaker opponents. He's too much of a everybody's friend coach. Smile and hugs and occasionally yelling. But I don't know what it is, what his approach is, but when he was at Mainz, and then when he was at Borussia, he just always seems to struggle motivating his teams to play against weaker opponents. Especially his defensive line, because, and the thing is, he also wears out, I don't know, he won at Borussia Dortmund. He won a couple of cups there. But he gets so locked in. He's got his players, and everybody else is in the doghouse. And if a player gets in his doghouse, that player will never play, no matter if the player might be better than somebody on the pitch. And so Klopp can be maddening as a coach. When he came to Liverpool, I was both happy and scared. He won the cup with he won the UEFA Cup with Liverpool, and I was thrilled. But it's like, dude, you've had two chances, you still haven't won the Premier League. Well, he won the Premier League last year, but when they had that extended, after they basically wrapped it up, got 25 points ahead at Christmas, you could see the team just did not play as well, and they had a couple of big games, and they did beat Man City a couple of times. But, man, they struggled against the nobodies, the Birminghams and everybody. Sorry if you're a Birmingham fan. And then when they came back from the COVID, they weren't motivated to play anybody. They won 2 out of 6 games because they'd already won the title. In my opinion, the Premier League should have just called the season over, declared Liverpool the winner, gave everybody the summer off, and then brought them back and started normal. But they wanted to play out the whole season. Now everybody's had 3 weeks off and come back, and I still think Liverpool is drunk from the win last year. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is that just me, or you guys, am I spinning? I've been a Liverpool fan almost as long as Jackie. I think we each have over 50 years of being fans. So yeah, I saw some spinning there. But I'm not some American who jumped on the bandwagon. I go back to Paisley and Shanklin and Ian Rush, Robbie Fowler, my favorite of all time, Michael Owen. Love Michael Owen. He's my favorite of all time, although Mohamed Salah is definitely going up there. And Salah's already got something Michael Owen never had. Well, no, I think Michael Owen was on the last Liverpool team to win a league title. But man, I love Michael Owen. from the minute he started as a 17-year-old. And then Wayne Rooney came in later as a 16-year-old. But everybody in my house is a fan of a different Premier League team. We're all Werder Bremen fans in Germany. We're all Werder Bremen fans for Germany. But when it comes to Premier League, everybody's a fan because I was a Liverpool fan. And I think my kids started as Liverpool fans, but they quickly became fans of other teams in the league because whenever we'd play FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer on the PlayStation, I always played Liverpool, so they would play somebody else. So, like my one daughter would always try to find the team with the highest ranking, so that was the Alex Ferguson Man U days. So she would always play Man U, so now she's a Man U fan. My other daughter became Arsenal and Chelsea fan. How you can be both Arsenal and Chelsea fan, I don't know, but she pulls it off. More Arsenal than Chelsea, but both. She hated Arsene Wenger. And then my son was, anybody out there a Newcastle United? Because my son is a Newcastle United fan. And see Tim. Well, hi, New Junction. Richard at New Junction, welcome. Of all the teams of the Premier League, I don't hate anybody except Man City. I don't even hate Man United. I don't mind watching Man United play. I just want Liverpool to beat them. Man City, and I didn't even hate Man City 20 years ago. It's only since they got really good and I think cheated their way to really good. I hate them. I hate them because they kept stealing this title from, they stole the title from Liverpool a couple of times recently. I'm not a big Chelsea fan, but I don't hate Chelsea. I don't mind Arsenal. But I've been a Liverpool fan since the late 60s. And yes, it comes because I grew up a Beatles fan and I hooked up with Liverpool. Anything that was Liverpool when I was a kid in the 60s was cool. So the Liverpool soccer team. Now, granted, I'm sure at least 3 of the 4 Beatles were probably Everton fans. But in 1968, 1969, I didn't know Everton was also in Liverpool. All I knew was Liverpool. And so I could follow. Our newspaper covered the British Premier League back then, so I could follow it and keep up on them. And they were so good. They won the league title all the time back then. Yeah, huge Liverpool fan forever. And when I had that librarian, when I went to this one school, the librarian was a Scottish lady who was also a Liverpool fan. That just clinched it. She was from somewhere in Scotland, north of Liverpool. I know Liverpool's still a bit south of the Scottish border, but she was from somewhere in there. Oh, my favorite goalkeeper. Wow. There's a couple of guys back in the day, and sadly I forgot his name, and he just passed away within the last couple of years. Their great goalkeeper back in the late 60s and 70s just passed away. But, you know, I love Claudio. I almost said the American player. Pepe Reina. But I'm starting to love Alisson Becker. I think Alisson Becker might be my favorite right now. But Reina just goes back to when I was really following them heavily. Of course, the problem is no matter who Liverpool played, nobody was as good a goalkeeper as David Seaman was. His heyday at Arsenal and Man United, David Seaman was just amazing. So right now I have a lot of hook for the Modern because it's the first time in 30 years they've won anything. I just saw the other day that Hippio's birthday. It was Hippio's birthday. Those teams, you know, that's what drives me crazy is Sammy. You had Sammy. You had Hippia. You had some great guys. In that late 90s, early 2000 era. Those were some good teams. Never won a league title, but they won a lot of silverware elsewhere. Yeah, Grobiller. Jason, you mentioned NASCAR. I liked old NASCAR, 60s, 70s. Of course, Dodge dominated NASCAR back then. Mopar and Dodge. Even the great Dale Earnhardt started in Dodge Chargers before Dodge withdrew. And then I could have cared less about NASCAR until Dodge got back into it. And Sterling Marlin in the silver number 40, and finally Dodge won a NASCAR championship again for the first time in 30 years, and then Dodge withdrew from NASCAR again. Stupid sons of... But at the risk of offending my American friends, I did get a European bias. I'm watching the Indianapolis 500 or NASCAR anymore with cars going in circle. It's a skill. Those guys have amazing stamina and durability and knowledge, and playing borderline dirty at times. But watching cars just go in a big circle just doesn't do it for me anymore. I prefer, if I'm going to watch car racing, and I'm not into car racing that much, it's more the European Formula One stuff where, yes, they still have a loop, but it's a much bigger, more exciting loop. But the only car races I've watched in the last 10, 15 years is my friend Heinz, before he passed away, got into the electric Formula One, the EF1. Anybody know that? The EF1, the electric Formula One racing. He got into that. They're all electric cars. Going. Oh, Beckenbauer, of course, means a name. Oh, I remember. See, I didn't pay attention to, and I have been adopted into the Werder Bremen family, Nancy. We hate, emphasis hate. Sorry, Herb, we hate Bayern München. We hate Bayern München. But I know all the bigger name German players from the great German national teams because I followed the German national teams even back in the 70s. So Beckenbauer and all those guys. I even remember Jurgen Klinsmann when he played and he became coach of the U.S. national team. I'm still a huge follower of the German national team. I love Jogi Löw. I think he's a great coach. I was in Germany when they almost won and then won the World Cup. If we had just come home from Germany 2 weeks before they won the final, so we weren't there when they actually won it, but we were there while they were playing for it. Well, we were in Germany through many Euro Cups and World Cups. Podolski and Lahm and all those guys. Oscar Kahn, the great goalkeeper. Philip Lahm, the other great goalkeeper. Yeah, Jurgen Klinsmann was a great player. I think he would have been a great coach for the American national team if he could have done things his way. Unfortunately, as I explained in a live feed a couple of weeks ago, the reason the American national team stinks, it's not because we don't know soccer. We have enough talent in America to win a World Cup, as do many nations, just like England. England has its problems why it doesn't win a World Cup. But in the American, it's the system basically a pay-to-play system and a sponsor system where we don't pick the top 20 guys to make a team. We pick the top 20 guys who have sponsors and whose parents can pay their way coming up through all the training seminars, who then have connections. You know, the last two big American coaches aren't coaches because they know anything. They're coaches because their family are big shots and donors to the United States Soccer Association, the USSSA. You know, heck, the captain of our team was only the captain of our team. Bob Bradley was only on the team because his dad was coach and he started him. Bob Bradley is a mediocre player at best. On most days, he sucks because he played midfield, and in his career, he's been both a defensive midfielder and an offensive midfielder. But he would always play offense when he was a defensive midfielder, and he would play defense when he was an offensive midfielder. He was a horrible passer, and he would have been the first guy, one of the first guys I would have cut and chased off the team. He was horrible, and I swear the only reason he was on the team for years was his dad and his family were big time. The dude that's now coach was a solid U.S. national team player, played many, many games for the U.S. national team. He was a good player. Great? Meh. But he's coach now because his family are big time board members of the U.S. National Soccer Team Foundation. Yeah, Peppa. Grubler played in a different era, and I didn't get to see him play as much as read the stat sheets and occasionally catch highlight films, but Peppa was the first one I really got to watch every game. By that time, our local sports broadcasting systems were broadcasting Premier League games. So I didn't see some of the great guys of the 70s and even into the 80s. It was in the mid-90s that they finally started showing Premier League games on cable in the United States where I could really see guys play. Otherwise, it was more names and newspaper articles and not so much see them. All right, Jason, take care. You know, speaking of Liverpool goalkeepers, Liverpool chased a guy out there a couple of years ago, Simone Mignolet. I thought he could have been a great goalkeeper if there had been a coach who actually taught a team to play defense. He was not a bad goalkeeper at Liverpool. He just had horrible teams in front of him. Teams that did not know how to mark their man, teams that did not know how to play proper zone defenses. I mean, and I know we had guys like Martin Skirtle in front of him at times, but Skirtle was another guy who could play great or turn around and kick the ball into his own net. I don't know how many own goals Martin Skirtle had playing for Liverpool, but he had a lot. I remember the one where it was the middle of a game. It was a tight game. Liverpool had a chance to win this game. I think it's 1-0. And this was the game where they finished in second place under, was it Rodgers? Or Hodgson. It was under Roy Hodgson. Skirtle had the ball kicked back to him, and he turns around expecting Mignolet to be behind him. Mignolet was over on the other side yelling instructions. Skirtle just turned around and kicked it right into his empty net. He never even looked. He just turned around and kicked it. And Mignolet comes running from the other side. And that was kind of what Mignolet had in front of him. Oh, Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones definitely made a name for himself, but for all the wrong reasons. And but let's face it, he was suited to play the characters he plays in movies. He played that way. The characters he played in movies was who he was on the football pitch. A brutal killer. Vinny was just downright dirty. Dirty? Oh, Paul Gascoigne, I remember him. I was waiting to see if Joyce would come home and come down. It's already after 5. She should be home by now. I haven't heard her come in, but she may have come in and is talking to my son, who's loading up stuff and taking it to his new apartment. But this is a big deal because even though my son had moved out before, he had moved in with friends. This is his place. He chose it. It's his place and his girlfriend's place. But so this is a little different than when he moved out last time. This is his place. The other times, his friends had already had the places, or friends kind of picked the place out, and he went with them and picked it out. But this is his home. This is his first, I picked this place out home. So it's a big deal for him. He's 25. I mean, I certainly, like I said, he moved out when he was 19 and stayed out till he was 23. And then he moved back in almost 2 years ago. I don't think he planned on staying 2 years, but it's just the way things played out. He's been itching to move right back out. And you can't blame him. He's 25. He wants to live his life, not live in a bedroom that was too small for him when he was 10, much less 25. The crib is slowly coming along. I've been cutting pieces. I have to go out and buy a router table. I don't have a router table. I've got a hand router. I don't like hand routers, so I want to get a router table. So I can take some of it off. So I've been basically cutting pieces down to size, trying to get my daughter to decide which style, the way I'm making it, which one does she like? Does she have an issue with a certain way of doing it? Does she is Mom home? She just got home. Okay. Oh, Lynn's here? Oh, all right. Wow, the whole family's here. My daughter is here. I guess they're looking at some. But yeah, I wanted to show my daughter a couple of different ways to build it because she wants it to be, the cribs that we had when I was a kid, or that even my kids had, are now considered not safe. And I mean, we all survived, but so she wants a modern style build, but she wants it to look, what'd she call it, mid-century modern. And so I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a woodworker. I can build basics. I can build bed frames and stuff like that. But I like the idea that I'll be building something that maybe my grandchildren, great-grandchildren would turn around and use. Because I do build to last. It may not always be the prettiest, but it's going to survive nuclear war. Hey, Common Road Junction, how are you? So right now, nothing is put together. I'm going to start assembling some pieces, but I really want to take, I'm using cut lumber, and some of it has some strong edges, and I want to round those edges off so if the baby rolls over in the crib, he doesn't catch himself on it and bump his head and catch the edge of wood. So I've got a small hand router and was working with that, and I just was not enjoying it. So I want to get a good table router table, and just buff all those edges, round them out, make them soft, and then I can start piecing everything together. But my daughter wants it adjustable, whereas the kid grows older, she can move it down, and so that requires a little bit of a trick without having things that the baby could hurt himself on inside the crib. So we want the inside of the crib completely flush, no edges, no corners, no pieces of metal or holes the baby could stick a finger in and get hurt. So it requires me to look at a lot of different things. But yeah, I've been cutting all the pieces to size, and I'm getting ready to start assembling the different pieces. So I over-explained that. Hey, Simo D, how are you? So, yeah, Joyce just got home from work. Uh, my son is here. My two daughters are here. Um, so we got the whole family here. I was just going to see if Joyce wanted to come down and say hello for a bit, even though she wasn't featured as a singer today. But it's been a good. It's running trains. Really, I've discovered middle of the week, maybe not so much, but on a Friday, I really discovered why I keep doing the live streams. It just, yeah, it's relaxing talking to you guys, reading what you have to say. Mostly me babbling. Man, it just it's a good way to come down off of a stressing weekend, as long as my trains are running smoothly, which 99 times out of 100, knock on wood, they are. I've had a couple of bad days. Uh, Usually operator error, like when my two trains crashed, I had that really bad day where everything was going wrong because I forgot to close a point and a train changed lane and two of my newest trains went head on into each other. Oops. Or I'll bump the reset button on this. But then, yeah, the one day I had the short and I couldn't figure out what kept shorting, and then I saw that it was just one little wheel that wasn't even sounding like it was off, was derailed, and was causing, on points, it was causing shorts. Friday night afternoon Model Railway Road Club. Do you call it rail? The big debate, is it railway or railroad? Americans say railroad. The UK tends to say railway, which is probably why it's an insult from Hornby that they call their quality range the railway line, and they call their cheap crap the railroad line, as a dig at us Americans. Just get over the revolution and the War of 1812 already, all right? Just kidding. Maybe. I had one guy ask me, wow, you were running your trains for 2 hours. Those locomotives must be nice and hot right now. It's like, no, I could stop and grab it. These are Americans, man. They're built to run forever. And you go to Miniature Wonderland, they have trains that run for all day. Now, they do rotate some, but they have some that they do run. Although they tend to use more Fleischmann than Märklin, but they do have some areas where they have Märklin track, which is interesting because most of Miniature Wonderland is DCC 2 rail, but they do have some sections where it's Märklin DCC 3 rail. In other words, AC powered. I can't wait to get this ICE4, man. I'd probably have to put it on a credit card right now since my train bank account has been butchered buying Alex, the green guy over there. If you could see the freight train parked, then there's the IC2, the double decker, and then Alex is the next train up from there. Yeah, I tapped in. I bought a couple of trains that I wasn't planning on buying. This red guy, the little red guy right here, I wasn't planning on buying him, and I bought him this summer. So that went in, that ate out of my train fund. And then my Alex train and the cars to go with it, plus getting it upgraded, getting it converted to 3 rail, and new microchip put in it, a new decoder put in it. That ate into my ICE4 train fund. But man, I would love, and I know it's got to be coming soon because Märklin released a video recently, a couple of weeks ago, where they had a done version, which means it has to be on the production lines. They had a full-scale model out and done, showing it off, which means it's got to be in production, which means it should be coming soon. I'll have to check. There's a website. Oh, yeah. No, I've done that a couple of times the hard way, Andrew T., because the ski and I will forget to put the track in stop mode. I will turn the trains, I'll slow them down, but forget to put it in stop mode, and I will grab one of my locomotives and brush the power ski, as we call it. I'll brush that little ski against the tracks, and poof! Yeah. Oh no, we've all been there. But like going back to yeah, the Maryland stuff. And so there's a website called Stummies, Stummi, and you don't need to know it unless you're into German trains, Maryland trains. Stummies is a all in German website that gives you all the up-to-date minute to the minute updates on what trains are being released, when they're being released, what's being built at the factory. So they'll say being released from the factory today, being released from the factory next Monday, is on the production lines. First box is being mailed out Tuesday. So it's really, really interesting. But I haven't checked in a while. You just got to know the model number, the company making it, the model number, and you can find it. It's a real cool website for us German train guys, because it really does give you up-to-the-minute updates on when trains are hitting. The scariest one is you're waiting for a train to come and you see sold out at manufacturer, but it hasn't hit your store yet. That's scary, because it's like, it should have been at my store. Why didn't I get notified? That did happen once, where my store of preference in Germany, that I buy 80% of my trains from, elected not to carry a locomotive I wanted to buy. They elected not to carry it. They just decided they didn't want to carry it for some reason, and I had to buy it from somebody else. And I had to pay more money too. I would have gotten it for cheaper if I bought it from my store. Yeah, Pico's, the thing you got to watch about Pico is, yes, they make stuff that looks cool, but man, talk to my friend Jim, aka Hover Motion. Pico, it can go bad real fast. Pico makes great high-end locomotives, for example, but their cheaper stuff, oh, it's garbage. And their decoders, garbage. And that, I get told that from Pico salespeople in the United States. But yeah, Pico makes some pretty cool accessories to trains. Their cranes and running stuff. I would probably look at getting the Wiesmann, if they're, because every now and then they make one and release it, or the Roco one. But at 700 euros, which is what, about 650 pounds, which is about 800 American dollars right now, because the exchange rate is god awful. Thanks to our economy being in the trash again. The American to euro exchange rate right now is about 15 to 20% higher than it was at this time last year. Well, about 15% higher. It would cost me 15% more to buy stuff. And it's not even, I mean, technically it's a 15% increase, but it feels like it's more than that. But even in finance, it's a 15% increase. You know, just imagine a tax being raised 15%. Yeah, that's not cool. Yes, Maryland just released a bunch of Class 66s last year. Their newest one has angered a lot of people because the first couple came out and were about 400 euros or were 500 euros, but you can usually find a couple of shops that'll get them cheaper. But their newest one The HK is like 600 and some euros, and fans were really upset that they jacked up the price that high. 639 euros, I think. Now, I would get it at my shop for about 459 euros, somewhere in there. But yeah, ESU made some Class 66s that are pretty impressive. ESU is another German company. ESU, if Richard Brown is still here, yep. ESU makes the ECOS, and they made the original Miraklin Central Station 1. But ESU is now more famous for their Lock sound decoders and sound chips. And again, I know there's some new UK companies coming out there making really good top decoders. I just know if it's German, you want ESU, Lock Pilot, or Lock Sound, or you want Lens, L-E-N-Z, Lens. Roku makes nice chips. I think the Miraklin chips are good with Miraklin stuff. I do like the Miraklin chips, but I still think the Lens and ESU chips are probably higher quality than the Miraklin chips. I say chips, guys, decoders. The Miraklin decoders aren't quite as good as Lens or ESU. ESU just makes amazing. Anything ESU makes is amazing. Hello, Sakura. How are you, sir? I saw you posted. I saw that you tagged me the other day in a video, but by the time I got home, it was over. I have just not had free time. And what little free time I have had this week, I've been slowly building my coming grandson's crib. That's the big deal, the grandson. It's getting close. It's less than 2 months away. Okay, I'm back. My OSB disconnected. Do we want to go back to that? They're not chips, they're French fries, you darn islanders. Everybody else in the world calls them pommes, fritas, or fries, or French fries. You guys gotta be different. They're chips. No, chips are little things in bags. You call them crisp because you just refuse to call things what they should be called. Let's start that fight again. It's a DCC chip, yeah. And trust me, I don't like giving anything a French name. I'm German. Whenever we say French, we want to spit right away. You know, sort of like Scots. Puh. The French. Puh. That was my German grandfather's bit. I think... Uh-oh, I hear a voice. I hear a voice. Yeah, I know. Well, now nothing's going on, yeah. I heard, I was going to start to wind this up. It's going on 2 hours. Who bought this?
Lizzie got this.
Oh, yeah, that's cute. The first...
I showed it to Lynn the other day, so she did
The first official purchase for the baby.
It's adorable.
Adorable.
It's got a little wolf on
So
it.
people are all saying hi, Joyce.
Hi, 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 hi.
Look at the interesting pattern of Sam. Yeah.
What size is it?
It's an Oda 3.
Really?
Yeah, that looks big for 0 to 3.
Yeah, and that's what I thought.
That's
So I'm like,
4-3.
it'll fit him when it fits him.
It will fit him when it fits.
There you go. You got... Here,
So hi, 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 hi. Well,
You're about to tell him a lot of things.
I am.
Well, I'm going to be ending this a little sooner. Oh yeah, I was looking for those. They were in that chair.
Yeah, I found
Well,
them for you.
they were in the chair that AJ took, so he must have moved them there. I didn't notice.
Well, when you decided they were stored in chairs.
Yes, I know where they were. They were in that chair, but they got moved to a different chair.
But yes, Lynn thinks this thing is bluer than she wanted.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's why.
I even went out, we grabbed a scrap of the red oak.
Okay.
to put it on, and it looks like.
Are you sure it's a scrap?
Maybe look and
Had the
fairly
looks of a
certain
scrap.
it's a scrap. It was one of the real small ones.
Squares. Not like thin and narrow.
Right.
Okay.
One of the bigger squares.
Yeah.
definitely looked
Not
like-
all those things that look like scraps are scraps. Those are going places.
Yes, we were very scrutinized.
I hope so. Yeah, see, we won't keep that a secret from her. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna assemble it at her house.
Well, that's just it. You want me to build it where it could be
I know.
assembled and disassembled and reassembled. So that's how I'm building it.
Fine. Okay.
So anyhow, you got everybody saying hi.
No, they're off of me now. They're going on everything. It's fine.
Because you ignored them.
No, I said hi.
You're a adoring audience.
I said hi.
Yeah, but you only said hi in general.
That's what I do. Hi's and byes. Nothing long and drawn out for me. Right?
Right.
Considering she just held up everyone for leaving for like 5.
Hey, you guys don't mind if we have a family debate here. You just watch the trains.
Talk amongst yourselves.
They do anyhow.
Oh, they do.
Hi to Joyce. How are you? See, now they're asking how.
I know. Well, yeah, it's work.
That means it wasn't a great day. I'll hear all about it later.
It's true.
Now my daughter left. She heard she was on live and left.
True.
Well, there you go. Who knows? Maybe one of your K-pop band guys is into trains and be tuning in.
That would be different.
So do I, but it was worth a shot.
You know, right now, you don't call these great weeks. You've survived them, not necessarily
Enjoy them.
enjoyed them.
You survived.
I do like a lot of the kids.
But
Just some of them I don't know at all. They just hide.
But it's not the kids and the teaching that makes it hard. It's
No.
all the ancillary stuff. It's all the outside stuff.
Well, they're completely changing my list in a week, so that's something to look
Yeah.
forward to.
See, just to explain some of the BS Joyce has had to go through, when we decided to do this current system, nobody knew exactly what was going to happen. So our school district created a completely online school called, are you ready? The Virtual Academy. And Joyce volunteered to teach at it this year.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, there were reasons for it, but too detailed to go into.
Okay.
And they said all these parents had to sign up by August 9th or something like that. August 9th, if you were going to put your kid in the virtual academy, you had to register your student by August 9th. In other words, they didn't have to report to the regular school or even take online classes at the regular school. They could go to the online academy. But they had to sign up by August 9th, and they had to agree that they were going to stay in there for a semester, a half year. That when we come back in 2021, in January of 2021, after winter break, they could then decide if they wanted to stay in the virtual academy or go to the brick and mortar school. Well, that's what the politicians and everybody said. They're still letting people, it is now October, they're still letting people change from the brick and mortar schools to the virtual academy.
Well, they opened it back up.
Yeah, they open.
Changed.
Well, they're still letting it go. And they're letting kids go from the virtual academy to the brick and mortar schools, as we call them, even though technically we're not open yet, but letting them go to the... So she's got 40 kids, of which in any week, 5 to 10 of them are changing. And that's before you start dealing with the parents who don't know how to turn a computer on for their kids or are sitting there watching their kids do the work and then yelling at the teacher, "You're going too fast for my child." It's like, you're not supposed to be there. So it has just been nuts, absolutely nuts for her, even more than me. But this week I had just a hectically busy week. So I didn't get a chance to truly finish a song. Joyce didn't want to sing it, and I didn't really have time to do the video. And of course I didn't want to sing it. If she doesn't want to sing it, I definitely don't want to sing it.
It's a rocker.
It's too hard a rocker for her voice. She needed soft rock.
Yeah.
She's a heavy metal girl at heart, but singing, she needs to
Not
stick to softer
Very
stuff.
good. I just don't have the voice. How are our daughters? They're doing fine. That boy is getting big.
Yep, 2.5 pounds now.
Yeah, Yep.
inside.
And yeah.
Just had an ultrasound, so we got to see his big head, although the doctor said it was a slightly smaller head than average. But this is average. Joyce had a panic. It's smaller than it. What's? Oh my God! It's like, no, honey. It's just he's in the 90th.
I worry about everything.
Yes, it's you. You worry more now than you did, and you were a worrywart when you were pregnant.
Yeah, probably.
But it's a big deal. This is the grandkid she's been waiting for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and it's getting closer. And I'm surprised she hasn't nudged me and said, "Shouldn't you be outside building a crib?"
No. I am getting really close on that blanket, though. I have 3 more squares to go. I'm motivated.
No, Chris, my son sadly has as bad a voice as I do.
Actually, he did not like you saying that at all.
Oh, AJ did not like me saying that?
Apparently, he doesn't think he has a bad voice.
I've heard him. It's as bad as mine. Have you ever heard him sing?
I don't think in a long time.
Well, maybe his voice changed again.
It's the last time you heard him sing.
Within 2 months.
Hmm.
He did. Wow, that's funny. He's mad that I said his voice is as bad as mine.
Yeah,
Wow, I've offended my son.
you have offended your son.
I'm always offending somebody. Might as well keep it in the family. Somebody's always offended.
I'm glad it's the weekend.
Yeah, we're glad it's the weekend.
It's really busy, but
But that's part of the problem we deal with. Administrators. The situation, I'm very sympathetic to everybody because we haven't seen a situation like this in 102 years. And the last time it hit America, we shut everything down. But everybody stayed at home. We were still in 1918. America was still an agrarian, barely industrialized society. We were just producing the Model Ts. We had not gone to the big assembly line, big factories. Even though our industrial age started in the 1880s and 1890s in America, we really didn't fully industrialize until we started getting ready for World War II. So this is the first time in an industrialized modern society you've had a plague, and that's what this is. It's a plague. And so nobody knew how to handle it.
how long did the 1918 flu
Hey,
last?
Ian, it really started in 1918, although some people say you could find traces of it in 17, and it went into 1920. They say it basically petered out in 1920. So 1918 to 1920, 2 years. What they called then the Spanish influenza, because they said it started in Spain, but actually it probably started in the trenches of World War I in Europe. Call it the Belgian flu. Ian's here. Hi, Ian. But yeah, our school system has never had to face anything like this, and it's faced tough times in its past. But then there's just typical administrators, not even politicians, but administrators that no matter how things should be done, they have their view on how it should be done. Teachers are the ones who know the best, but it's like frontline troops. The frontline troops know more of what's going on the battlefield than some of the generals sitting at HQ. And the generals at HQ say, no, we see the big picture. We see everything, where those troops are only seeing a finite. Well, those troops are seeing finite all across the line. It's the same thing. But administrators and the politicians are just too crazy. Everybody's getting annoyed with it, but sadly, if people had just done what they should have done the first time around, maybe we don't have the second outbreak. But that's the problem in America. I look at countries like Germany and the Czech Republic where they've opened up, and yes, they've had an increase, but it's not like the insanity in America where we've never really had a big decrease. But yeah, like Joy said, we should move on to happier topics. Although really, I need to look at shutting down here. It's been 2 hours and no song. I'm depressed I didn't have a song today.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all your fault. No,
It's just being sympathetic.
the online businesses were supposed to blame Heath.
Oh?
Yeah, it's always Heath's fault, apparently. Something is
see.
always Heath's
I
fault.
see.
Heath is not here, so yeah, why not blame him? Although, Heath had a live stream today. And I mentioned that I had a 1 o'clock meeting that our principal called, and that I wanted to go home early, but she was going to have a meeting at 1, and she loves to yap. Heath said, wow, it must be really bad if Anthony thinks she likes to yap. I pointed out to Heath, I haven't had 3 and 4 hour live streams like he has had. If you're listening out there, Heath.
Chris is laughing, at least you didn't blame me.
No, I blame you for doing songs, Chris, not for not doing songs. I blame you for doing songs. So yes, I was, and so I pointed out to Heath, I go on live for 2 hours once a week. He's on live either on his show or Sidetrack Sundays or a couple other people's shows, yakking a lot more than me.
Jackie says, I'm not well and I need a song. Well, she could sing it.
Oh, the problem is I don't have a train song. Yeah, Jackie, you could sing it. Jukebox Hero. YouTube Hero. Originally it was going to be YouTube Zero and be about me. YouTube Zero. But as I started writing it, it became more outwardly passive-aggressive assault. The lyrics are kind of
I just don't have the words.
mean. I don't know if mean's the right word, but they're aggressive. But she says, I'm not well. I immediately went to, what was it? Harvey. I'm not well,
Yeah, right.
but I'm so high, 'cause I'm in hell. Harvey Danger. Been around the world to find that only stupid people are breeding. The cretins cloning and feeding, and I don't even own a TV. I'm not sick, but I'm not well, and I'm so high, 'cause I'm in hell. Oh, it's Harvey Danger. What's the name of the song? Because the name of the song's not in the lyrics. Flagpole Sitta. Flagpole Sitta. Harvey Danger, Flagpole Sitta. Fingertips of memories, I can't forget the curves of your body. And when I feel a bit naughty.
I thought it was in that one. The 90s tracks? Is it 80s?
No, it was 94.
Oh, why isn't it in there?
Ah, look, Chris strikes again. I feel so sorry for you, Joyce. We can turn Anthony off. Oh, Chris, but you also can turn me on.
I am so used to him.
You know, you got your
His
head down and you
His
don't project well
voice
to
does
begin with.
not bother's the wrong word. It doesn't affect me in any way. Unless he's singing by himself. Or somebody else. But in the house, it's fine.
Yeah, she doesn't mind my singing as long as it's not in public.
That's about it.
Yeah. The minute I sing in public, then I'm a
It's
disgrace.
all right. I don't quite want to say I tune it out.
How
but I
does it
kinda tune
start?
it out.
How do the lyrics go? I know the second line. It's a great song if anybody remembers Harvey Danger, Flagpole Sitta. And it's Sitta, S-I-T-T-A-H. Oh crap, I'll find it faster than you.
Maybe. I know I'm on the right place.
Because I do this.
I know I can search probably.
Flagpole.
It's not in there.
One song matches. There it is. Let's play it real quick. Or not. Come on. All right, Ian. Oh, now you found it. I was looking into the mirror to see a little bit clearer. My fingertips and memories, I can't forget the curves of your body. And when I feel a bit naughty, I run it up the flagpole to see who salutes, but no one ever does. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. And I'm so high, 'cause I'm in hell.
Oh, ow. That's terrible.
What? Who? What? Oh, kidney infection.
That's terrible, Jackie. I'm so sorry.
Probably can't hear that over this.
I said, I'm so sorry, Jackie. That sounds miserable.
Of any ailment in the world, the thing that scares me more than anything is kidney problems.
Indeed.
Because I only have one.
He has one.
I only have one kidney.
So, anyway.
Yep, I only got one kidney, so. I was born that way, by the way. Born with one kidney. Born with a couple of little birth defects. That was my mom, smoking.
Couple of defects.
Yeah. My pinched toes. And my little birthmark. The fact that I should have been 6'7", but my mom's smoking stunted my growth.
He's still better.
I'm still bitter. Yeah, when I was born, the doctor's projection was that I would be, based on all these diagnostics, is that I would grow up to be about 6'7", between 6'6" and 6'8". But they failed to account for the fact that my mom smoked heavily during all her pregnancies. So even though I'm 6'3" something, I was supposed to be taller. And I was born with one kidney. So I live in fear of getting any kind of a kidney ailment. It also prevented me from playing American football. They couldn't risk me taking a shot in the back.
Yeah, nobody seemed to recognize it. Oh, really? It's not a birth defect.
Well, technically it kind of is, a long developing one. Whoa, Chris just wants to have at me today.
I guess so. Whatever.
I'm going to come to Scotland in a year or so, and I'm going to shave you bald and see how you put up with it, dude. Yeah, but mine will grow back. I'll give him a fake Scottish accent. Yeah, laddie, mine'll grow back. Yours never will.
Anyway, I don't know. We got a group. I was thinking order pizza tonight.
Is everybody here still?
I think Lindsay, she and Chris are coming back.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's order pizza then. Go for it.
Although Jay was, I don't know if they're going to want it. Because Jay said he'd order pizza for everybody for helping him at P&E tonight.
Oh.
It's supposed to be pancakes.
Oh.
But I don't know.
Pancakes? Pancakes for dinner?
Jay is a bald head.
There's a solar panel for genius. I hadn't heard that one before.
Yeah, me neither.
No, bald head and no hat is a recipe for skin cancer. Because that's the other thing I have to watch out for, especially since my sister died of it. So I can't I can't go outside, especially in spring and summer, without a hat. Joyce will yell at me. You got a hat? Sorry, dear. Because I actually hate wearing hats, although I've gotten so used to it now. I can't say I hate it anymore. It's just, I accept it. Yeah, it's probably time. It's been over 2 hours and nobody to sing your praises today.
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't go bald, you just grow above your hair. No, I'd like to believe that, Richard, but I saw the drains and the showers over the years. I know exactly. I know exactly. I didn't grow above it. It fell out. Every day I would just pick up.
Nice about the hair chest.
I just would pick up a little bit more each shower, and I just traitors, get back up there, bastards! You know, and it's funny to watch me on replay.
I know.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah. Yeah. Tired of streaming.
Yeah, that's true. And this is the funny thing. We spend several hours of our day doing this, talking into a microphone, looking at a computer screen, which Joyce hates,
Yeah.
except when she's zooming with her family.
I like those people.
All right, bye, Chris. Take care.
Self-adjusting.
Self-adjusting hair. All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and start shutting this down because we do have things to do, and I probably should try to get some work done on a crib, if not today, early in the morning tomorrow. I'm so tired. It was a long week this week at work. So I want to take this moment and say thanks, everybody, for once again joining. We actually hit 30 again today.
Cool.
That was awesome. So I want to thank all of you for
Only
coming out.
25 liked it.
Actually, that's pretty good. You'll get a few more later. So, again, everybody, hey, don't leave till I say goodbye. All right, everybody, take care. Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains.
Tschüss.